So the main objective of this unit number 3 is to impart knowledge about various advanced controllers such as FACTS controllers with its evolution, principle of operation, circuit diagram and applications. And after completing unit number 3, you will be able to select appropriate FACTS technology, that is appropriate various FACT devices, and analyze its advantages, disadvantages, its economic feasibility and other parameters for using FACT devices. So why we are actually studying about the facts? Why there is a requirement of the fact? So the first most important reason is, see, in a conventional AC transmission system, the ability to transfer the AC power is limited by various factors like thermal limit, transient stability limit, voltage limit, short circuit current limit, and etc. These limits define the maximum electrical power which can be efficiently transmitted through the transmission line without causing any damage to the equipments and the transmission line network. This is normally achieved by bringing the changes in the power system layout, or if it is not feasible, then just making the changes in the power system layout. Also, with the introduction of various impedances devices like capacitor and inductor, the whole of the energy or the power from the source is not transferred to the load, but a part is stored in these devices as reactive power. You might be known about this reactive power. It is never consumed, but it flows back and forth from the sending end to the receiving end and return to the source back. This is what happens with the reactive power. So thus this actual amount of the power transferred to the load or the active power is always less than the apparent power or the net actual power. So for ideal transmission system, what we require is your active power must be equal to the apparent power. Then we say that total amount of energy generated is total amount of energy consumed. But this does not happen so. Or in the other words, we call the power factor of the system is unity. But this is a ideal case. In practical case, it does not happen. So in practically, we want to implement or we want to reach this ideal condition. So in order to reach this ideal condition, we want to use the fact devices. So it will make our total amount of electrical energy generated that will be actually consumed or satisfying the load demand. So hence we are actually improving the efficiency of the entire electrical power system network. So this is first major advantage of using fact devices. The second main reason of using fact devices is that till now the traditional methods were using the inductors and capacitors and thereby changing the impedance of the power system network. But how we were installing these capacitor and inductor? These capacitor and inductor were installed using the manual switches, or we call it as a mechanical switches. But the problem with these mechanical switches is they has to be operated manually. They are not at all automatic. Since they are not automatic, it is not flexible to use these mechanically operated impedances such as inductors and capacitors. Moreover, these when they are operated mechanically through the operator, they are quite slow in response, and when they used to respond, the entire system is undergone a rapid abrupt change in the parameters like voltage and current. These parameters are not smooth or as in sinusoid fashion as compared to the previous conditions. So these were the major disadvantage of using the traditional method like the mechanical switches for operating these capacitors and inductors. So this makes us to use these fact devices which are quite automatic, flexible and fast in giving smooth response. So finally we conclude these fact devices are much better in the sense that they are flexible, automatic and give us a dynamic control over controlling the power transferred from sending end to the receiving end. So these are few fact devices which you could see on the screen like shunt capacitors, series capacitors, shunt reactors, series reactor in combination with the other power electronic devices. So these are few various types of fact devices. So now we can easily define what do we mean by fact devices. So a FACTS stands for Flexible AC Transmission Devices, which is a new integrated concept based on power electronic switching converters and dynamic controllers to enhance the system utilization and power transfer capacity, as well as it enhances the stability, security, reliability and power quality of AC system interconnection. FACTS use solid state switching devices to control power flow through a transmission network so that the transmission network is loaded to its full capacity. A line can be loaded up to its full thermal limit by FACTS, and power can be increased through an old line using FACTS. There is no need of extra installation of conductors, insulators and any other mechanical equipment for transferring or enhancing the power transfer capability. So using the same old line, we can increase the power transfer by using the fact devices. So this becomes or this makes the system quite economically feasible. Let's look on to history of facts. The flexible AC transmission technology was first proposed by Dr. Naren Hingorani in 1988 of Electric Power Research Institute in USA. The first FACT installation was at CJ Slat substation near Arlington, Oregon. This is a 500 kV 3-phase 60 Hz substation and was developed by EPRI, the Bonneville Power Administration and General Electric Company. So these were the foremost information regarding the facts. So main objective of the facts are to increase the power transfer capability of transmission system. Second, to keep power flow over designated routes only. Since whenever we try to increase the power transfer capability, the line gets overloaded, and when line gets overloaded, it share some of its line inherently with the other simultaneously running lines. So this makes the short circuit cases high and they are more prone to thermal limits. But using these fact devices, we keep the power flow confined to that particular route only. Third one, the secure loading of transmission line nearer to their thermal limits. We use the utmost efficiency, thermal efficiency of that particular transmission line. Fourth, there is a prevention of cascading outages, that in a normal language we call it as cumulative disturbances or outages. Outages is nothing but taking out the particular network or device or equipment or a line for maintenance purpose. But this happened due to the cumulative breakdown due to a certain disturbance. Though this can be prevented by contributing to emergency controls. Fourth, damping of oscillations that can threaten the security or limit the unusable line capacity. So the lines, these oscillations can be damped out and security of the line can be maintained and the limits will not be crossed. So basic type of facts compensation are listed down here. They are classified depending on the configurations. First one is controlled series compensation. In this controlled series compensation, a thyristor along with the capacitor or inductor is connected in series with the line, which has to be compensated for reactive power or voltage injection. Second is controlled shunt compensation. In controlled shunt compensation, as the name indicate, it is a shunt, means that the thyristor along with your capacitor or inductor is connected in parallel with the line or a network where the reactive power or voltage has to be compensated. Third one is combined series compensation. This is a kind of a hybrid compensation. In this, we use inductor as well as capacitor together in a hybrid combination. They are connected in this configuration in series manner. Your inductor and capacitor along with thyristor for controlling purpose is connected in series with the line. The last one is series shunt compensation. This is also a kind of a hybrid compensation in which your inductor capacitor along with controlling thyristor is connected, few of them in series and other in parallel, in order to change the impedance of a line so that the reactive power can be controlled and voltage can be maintained within the tolerable limits. So 3 and 4 is a hybrid type of compensation, and 1 and 2 are actually a pure form of compensation. So here are the types of facts controller. The basic classification on the configuration are series compensation, shunt compensation, series and shunt compensation, and series compensation. In series compensation, there are various types of facts devices configured. One is TCSC, thyristor control switching capacitor, thyristor control switching reactor, TSSC and SSSC. In shunt, we have STATCOM and SVC, static wear compensator. Now static wear compensator, depending upon the position of reactor, controller, that is thyristor, capacitor and switches, depending upon their position they can be configured into 3, that is TSR, TSC and TCR. In hybrid type, in series and shunt, your UPFC comes, that is unified power factor controller. In series compensation, we have IPFC. We will further look into the details of these types. Series TCSC, in shunt we will see SVC, series shunt we will look UPFC and IPFC. These are the major which we will look into their details, their principle, operation and VI character, that is voltage current characteristics, and their advantages and disadvantages comparison. So thank you so much. We will further continue and look into the details of various fact devices. Thank you.